G'day guys, welcome back to yet another video. So yesterday I had the day off because I had to go to the specialist about my arm. At the moment the consensus is just to wait another 2 weeks and see how it goes. So that's pretty much how that's going to stay. Rex was very busy yesterday, got heaps done on this car, but he didn't film any of it, so that was cool. So now you got to deal with a really long-winded, boring, me blabbering update on this car, which is going to probably take a few minutes. So apologies, but there was a lot of very important things that happened yesterday which need to be sort of documented. But car is pretty much completely back together now. Pow! Oh, that looked good.
It looks better when it's clean.
It's yeah. Currently it's super dusty. I was saying to Rex just before, I don't understand how it got so freaking dusty in here. But
Dad's been
moving dirt and stuff. Yeah.
And stuff. There's been heaps of dust.
But yeah, car is completely back together now as far as externally goes. So all the door, like everything's on, all the trims, all the panels, bonnet. So pretty excited to get this thing out into the sun. After I signed off the last video, which was 2 days ago, I gave Rex a hand just to bleed up the brakes and try and bleed up the clutch, which we had some trouble, but Rex got that sorted yesterday. So yesterday, Rex actually masked up everything behind the back wheels, took the back wheels off, and like chassis blacked all under the back guards, the same way we did the fronts, if you remember all those episodes ago. So in there now is all beautifully blackjacked, so looking real nice, and you know, all sealed up again and protected again, so no rust, chips, that sort of thing. So that's awesome. Rex also started getting his interior back together, which was most of his day yesterday. He was mostly just wiring in all his gauge cluster and everything. So he got all his wiring done. So it's looking real nice in here. Made his little bracket for his Microtech, which actually covers up where I said I accidentally cut too much out of that surround, so that's okay. Hopefully we can still fit the surround over the top. And yeah, we wired in all his 3 gauges there. So you've got boost, water temp and oil pressure, which are your 3 main important ones. He actually wired them in so they each have their own sub harness, so they're very easy to pull in and out, so they've got their own 4-pin connector on each gauge.
No, all three they all go into one harness and there's one.
Oh, okay, sorry. There is a sub harness for all 3 gauges. Yeah, my apologies.
Because those gauges, there's a little plug that goes into the back of each gauge, so if you want to disconnect, you can take the gauge.
Yeah, right.
You can just take that whole panel with all the gauges,
unplug it and pull the whole thing out. Beautiful. So that makes it real easy. He also had to wire in his remote washer bottle that's in the boot, which you have seen. He had a lot of trouble with that because it's negatively switched. So he ended up having to run a second wire. Someone messed with the harness. It was Rex. So he couldn't find the trigger for it. So he spent ages trying to trace the actual trigger for the washer sprayers. So that took him a fair while. So most of it was just, you know, under dash wiring, getting things back together. But
which, if you remember from our Q&A, our recent Q&A, under dash is one of our favourite things ever. We love doing it, especially for an entire day. I loved it.
So as you can see, Rex obviously wasn't in the mood to film anything yesterday.
No.
Got the TI badge back on the bonnet. Lovely, full TI front. Very cool. So we're sort of at the point with this car now where, you know, it's very close to being complete. Final touches, get the seats back in, a few other things, and it's ready for a tune, which currently we're tuning it tomorrow. So DYNO will be in here hopefully today. Tomorrow we are going to be sort of setting that up and tuning this thing. So as you can see, full final engine bay, pretty much how it's going to be. Rex still has to sort out the actual washers, so he's still got to run his lines and everything to the actual washer sprayers. So that's why that's tucked up there. But aside from that, the engine bay is now complete. As you can see with the bonnet on, it's looking mint. It's going to be, whoever buys this, it's going to be pretty sick if you do put it back on the street. You know, rocking up to car meets, this is actually going to be a pretty standout car considering it's a 31 and the standard that it's built to. So very cool. We have to cut a little bit out of the front bumper just because at full lock, the tires actually do hit the back of the front bumper here. So
very aggressive.
Yeah, very aggressive setup. So the tires actually do hit this lip on the bumper. But currently Liam's got 2 Series 3 bumpers that he has for his Track 31, which seems to be not a lot going on. He actually has done some stuff. I need to document it and get to his house and do an update. But anyway, for another date. But either way, he's got 2 bumpers, both of them probably better condition than this one with those holes. I think I explained this in the other video, but I can't quite remember. But yeah, both of them are probably a bit better condition than this one. So we're thinking about trying to see if he would let one of them go, just so that we can put a better conditioned bumper on this car, because it's really the only thing that's letting the front of this car down. And being that it is like full TI front, it would be really nice to get a nicer bumper on this car without those holes. And if you remember watching my video where I had that idea where we're going to build an LS R31, I actually need a Series 3 bar for that. We don't have a spare one. So if we can get one off Liam, put a nicer one on this car, that'd be awesome. I'll use this one, I'll repurpose it for the LS R31, because for what I plan with that car, it doesn't particularly have to be that nice. So that's what I'm hoping is going to happen there. But yeah, stoked to see this thing really coming together. Stoked to get it outside and see it in the sun.
I did try and replace that mirror too.
Oh yes?
Yeah.
Didn't work?
No, that one's staying there.
Oh.
Because the other one, they've got 3 screws in the back.
Yes.
There was already one of them broken when I pulled it off the other car.
Yep.
And as soon as I screwed the first one in here, it just split the plastic and then
Yeah.
and it fell off. And
So the way these mirrors are, there's like 3 bolts on the inside that they bolt through from the inside, and what they screw into is like a plastic post on the mirror, and they break off, and after that it's like super hard to actually fix them. I know mine's got a few broken ones as well. Can't remember what I did, but I managed to get it to stay there.
And then it does that shit when it falls off. So I have to get some cut and polish and get that out.
Get that out.
Yeah, I was very mad, but there was a lot of yelling about that one.
Lots of anger.
Yeah, I was furious.
Lots of anger and yelling. So that's more or less an update of where the 31 is at after yesterday. Doesn't look like much, but holy crap, is it a lot of time and work in what's been done. And yeah, it's pretty awesome. So I actually have, for those of you who've been on the channel for a very long time, I have a white Grip Royal steering wheel up on the mezzanine, which was actually in the Cressida that I sold to Adam. So I kept that wheel just because I sold that car to Adam real cheap, and I wanted to keep the wheels and the steering wheel off it. I've never really thought of a use for that wheel. Generally, I don't like color-coded steering wheels in cars. Generally, they look real tacky. Don't particularly like them. But the fact that it's Grip Royal, it's a really nice wheel, and it is this white. I'm thinking about chucking it in this car just to see what it looks like. The fact that it's got the white engine cover, it's this white, and then the white wheel, I think it actually may look okay. I think it might actually be probably the best use we're ever going to have for that steering wheel. So if so, it may as well go in this car, because I don't think I'm going to use it in anything else. And that'd be a pretty cool addition. So yeah, we're getting close to getting this thing done, dialed in, tuned, and then she can go up for sale and go to its new owner. So the plan for the rest of today is to sort of try and get this thing a little bit more further along, maybe try and get the seats back in, a few things here and there. But also, as you can see, this place is still an absolute mess. We have a job coming out today, and then I have Zach Baldy bringing out his R33 on Friday, and we're gonna get started on that as well. So we really need to get this place tidied up, because we have, we're gonna need a lot of this space to do a lot of this work. So we are going to have a big old tidy up today, which again, sorry guys, it's probably not gonna be worth filming, it's gonna be real boring. I'll show you a few before and afters. You can see how dirty this freaking place is. There's crap all over the benches, crap all over these tables, which a lot of it, now that the 31's mostly back together, can probably get sorted out, and we can make the stuff we don't need disappear. This bench as well, covered in stuff. Need to do a big clean up, put all the tools away. This pallet rack and still has stuff on it, which we sort of want to be free. So we'll get rid of some of that stuff. You know, once the dyno's out of where it is and in the shed, we can probably set up another set of pallet racking out underneath the dome next to the container. Once that's set up, we can probably get a lot of this other stuff out of here. And you know, once that's set up and we get the rest of the Holden stuff out of that container, we can start going through all this stuff. Although that's not necessarily going to be today or anytime soon, but eventually we want all this free for the same reason, so we can get cars in here and have multiple at a time going. The other thing we need to do today, or we're going to do today, is finish cleaning up the engine room. So obviously from the other day where we were just going through stock, it was wet, so we were tracking in mud. So we need to clean up the floor in here. We've still got stuff on the benches which we need to sort out and clean up, make sure the benches are all free, because again, probably not this week, because we need to get these cars in here and get the motors out of them, get them all pulled down and cleaned up before we actually need to put them in this space. But probably next week we are going to need this space here to be cleaned up and functional, because we're going to be using it for the first time, which is going to be awesome. So pretty exciting. I don't know if I showed you the other day, I set up a fitting rack. I think I might have. But anyway, that's where we're getting at. Sorry for the babbling. I am in future trying to get away from this constant explaining things and talking, because I understand you can say a lot more with footage, like visually, as you can as me just standing here babbling onto you. However, as I've said before, it's sort of a bit tricky when I'm the one that films and I'm usually the one also doing the work. So, you know, a lot of things where Rex is doing work, I'll try and get like a sort of a visual thing. Sometimes when Adam's in here doing stuff, I'll try and make sure I dedicate my time to actually getting good shots to do more visual stuff, like you've seen with some episodes of Adam's Crusader and some episodes where Rex was painting this thing. I try to do those little compilation things because I understand you can say so much more with visual aids rather than just talking. But again, pretty hard for this stuff, and yeah, pretty hard when I film and work. So I'm trying, guys. I'm trying my best to make sure the content quality is getting up. So bit of an update on where we are, guys. As you can see, shed is looking much cleaner. So these tables have completely been cleared off. Rex went through all that R31 gear. He even actually cleaned the tables, gurneyed them down, degreased them. They're outside just sort of drying out of the way for now. And we'll actually fold them up so they're out of the way and unfold them probably as soon as we start working on any one of these cars. The little fab sort of bench is all cleared off, which is awesome. The bench up here in the sort of work area is getting there. There's only a few little things left that I have to sort out and get off there, but it's getting closer. So it's just so much sorting out, throwing stuff out. It's massive. Not only that, I actually started going through our little cupboard over there, which is usually full of our like sealants and gasket makers and adhesives and all that sort of stuff, and going through our engine building tools, figuring out what's going to live in the room, what's going to live outside. And I've sort of started going through the room a little bit. So I've got all our sort of gasket makers, sealants, lubrications, everything you'd really generally use for engine building in here, sorted out, sort of mixed up. I had to go through and throw a heap out, obviously, because we still had heaps of old stuff that wasn't really working out. You know, keeping bottled adhesive stuff up there. Started stacking engine tools, which we'll start using along here. Things like our torque wrenches, angle gauges, ring compressors. There's still a lot more of this stuff to come. A lot more of this stuff did come with the deal, but Shane, who we bought it off, is still finishing up a few motors, so he's still got a lot of it with him. But apart from that, a lot of it will be coming back out here eventually, or hopefully fairly soon. So yeah, started stacking a lot of stuff out of the way, and I just sort of started to attack these benches. Finally got down the rest of my containers and filled up what was left. So this is sort of pretty much all of my containers now. We're pretty much fresh out. So that's all right. We've still got enough there. Should be plenty. But yeah, just still going through stuff. Rex is just ducked into town. He's got to get some fuel. He's got to get some fresh 98 so we can tune his car tomorrow. And he's going to get some lunch. So after lunch, we'll probably jump in, really finish up this engine room, get it nice and tidy and cleaned out. Finish going through all that stuff. Apart from that, we're sort of just about done with our shed cleanup. So the original plan for today, as I explained this morning, was we were meant to get a bloke or a mate dropping off a new job, which we were meant to be starting this week. That's not happening today now. So the plan was for him to drop that off. Rex was going to take him back down to Brisbane where he could catch a train back to where he lives because he didn't have a ride home. Unfortunately, he didn't get out here in time, and a few things that we needed to get from Brisbane, Rex couldn't sort of sort it out in time to make sure they were ready for him to pick up so he could do sort of one trip and get there and back. So now that's happening on Friday. So Rex has not had to go anywhere, which means he's going to be here all afternoon. So plan is when he gets back, we'll sort this room out, get that sorted. Once that's done, we'll work on sort of getting the dyno into the shed and start getting that actually sort of set up. So Dad's been going crazy on this pad. I'm still going at it, so that pad's pretty much ready to go. Dad's been at it all day. He's just down sort of picking out some rocks. He's going to build a bit of a spoon drain along the back of it so that it drains properly. So after that's done, that shelter's ready to go up, which at the moment we probably won't put up for a little while, just because at the moment I'm useless with my arm, as I'm sure you can understand. And me and Rex pulled it down together, just us two, and it was a big job then. And it's going to be a huge job if we try and do it just us two with the way my arm is at the moment. So I don't know when that'll happen yet, but we'll get there eventually. Anyway, it's not particularly necessary right this minute anyway. So this other job's going to be coming out on Friday now. Same day that Zach's coming out, we'll start on his 33. So we're going to be pretty busy pretty quick, which is nice. When you consider what this place looked like 2 weeks ago, the way it was set out, and how much we've actually moved, added in and sorted things out, and we've done a lot of work in the past couple of weeks. It's been big, and not to mention the week before that, I moved house and we had to move all this stuff up here. And the week before that, we did like 90 something hours in a week. It wasn't 90, it was like 84 hours we did in a week. So yeah, massive week before that too. So it's been a big month. Just had the silly ass kookaburra. Like, oh, he figured it out, finally. Been flying around the shed for like 5 minutes, couldn't figure out how to get out. See? Fuck you. Oh no, the wind's changed direction.
Fucking dog.
Now you're fighting it. Punch it, shit. So,
As soon as I'm finished sleeping, it'll blow from the other way.
as you can see, shed is looking much tidier than this morning. I think we've done a pretty good job. Engine room's all finished and cleaned out. So, looking pretty nice in here as well. Not bad, not bad. It's all went around and with the silicone and sealed up all the final things I had to seal, which include this little gap here. So it's all sealed up now, ready to rock and roll. So next job's gonna be get this dyno inside, really. How far back off the door we want it. We sort of want it far enough forward so that you can sort of leave a car on it and close this back door. The way we've set it far enough back that like something like my 31 or 31 or something like that, or a regular car, you should be able to leave it on the rollers overnight and just shut the door and lock it up. Which is sort of what we were going for, but something like Rex's Tunner or like a Ute, not so sure whether it's going to work. I think it's probably still going to be too far back. The door's probably not going to close, but if that's the case, we're just going to have to unstrap it and just roll it forward on the ramp so we can close the door. We can't really sacrifice that much room to put the dyno that far forward. It doesn't really make much sense. It's we're encroaching too much on the rest of the workspace there. So that's just how it's going to have to be. Still gives us enough room beside the ramp there to get into the engine room. Should still be able to get an engine stand through there with an engine on it into the engine room, which is obviously important, without having to move the ramp each time, which would be a pain in the bum. So, yeah, we're pretty much ready to grab the jib for the machine and rock this thing in there. The retarder to be about level with the door.
Fuck, you've got a fucking lot of room on that end.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. One dyno in its resting place where we think it's going to work best. So where it is there sort of gives us a lot of room towards the sink and everything once the ramp's on there. And so once this ramp is on, which goes down that way, which by our calculations should come to around about here, we think there should be sort of plenty of room to sort of still get an engine stand, an engine into the engine room, but we'll just have to look. If we've got to move this table, then we've got to move this table. That's not a big deal, but we'll just have to get the ramps on and have a look. So first thing I'll do is get the jockey wheels off so that we can bring the ramps in, put the ramps on it and see how it looks with the ramps on. We are on here. It's all happening. Rex is just giving it all a bit of clean up, something we probably should have done outside, but it's in now, so that's where it's staying. Bit of a clean up, bit of a gurney, clean it up. One thing that sort of sucks is this is actually the CAN cable for the retarder. Keep calling it a reluctor, it's a retarder. Anyway, because I'm retarded. So it is not actually long enough to go up over the I-beam the same way we've run the power. So this is actually the power to the cabinet, which we've run up over in the I-beam to try and keep everything off the floor. Unfortunately, it's just not long enough to quite sort of run over that way. So I'm just gonna have a look and see if I can get like a can-to-can sort of extension and actually run it so that it runs along the back here, because this is where the 20 amp for the retarder actually plugs in. So as long as the can run along with that, and then up with this power and along the I-beam and down, it means nothing's actually on the floor in this walkthrough area. I mean, it is still a pain that we actually lose the only real back access to the shed for a vehicle and the only drive-through bay. But, you know, it's a small price you got to pay for something like this. There's not really any other option we really had. At the end of the day, you need to have behind the dyno open. You can't just set it up against a shed wall because you're going to have cars exhaust just pointing directly at a shed wall, which is just going to make so much noise and rattle the whole place to bits. So it is what it is. We're going to have to deal with it for now, but I reckon we'll make do. So pretty happy with it. Righto guys, that's going to be it from me today. I don't think Rex is going to really bother filming anything more today. He's just going to work on getting the seats back in the 31. So tomorrow we'll get back into it. Tomorrow morning's pretty much reserved to getting the 31 sorted. After that, the guy who bought the dyno off is actually coming out just to make sure that we've got the setup okay. And you know, everything's all right with the dyno the way we've set it up, just in case, you know, we don't turn it on and blow it up. It's the last thing we want to do. So big ups to him for just coming out and sort of checking over everything, making sure for us and looking over our shoulder for the first sort of tune just to make sure everything's going to go all good. And so that's going to be tomorrow, which is going to be tuning this big thing. So yeah, in the morning we'll sort it out, get it sorted. I'll get that grip raw wheel in and stuff like that and see how it goes. And then yeah, we'll get into tuning it. And then in the afternoon, probably even run mine up on the rollers just to see where it's at, because it hasn't had a tune since I built it. So the tune that's on my ECU is actually the old tune from when I used to own the car, which is when it had a stainless high mount and a 3076 on it. So it's a little bit different setup now. Same injectors, same ECU. So that's why I didn't worry about it too much. That's why I just chucked the AFR gauge in it and ran with it. And it's always been sweet. The AFRs have always been on point. So, but we'll just run it up and see how it looks. See what sort of power it's making on that measly 9 PSI. I predict around 240. And as for Rex's here, we're sort of aiming for 350 plus. And yeah, so that's going to be a fun day. So tune in for that. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment, subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow. Catch you later, guys.